What's up, everyone? I'm here with Brittany, and we're coming to you from After Orange. And on behalf of WIC, Women Helping Indigent People, and Romans 8, we are continuing to, we got a house, a sober living home open this year, and we're continuing to fundraise for the in-outpatient facility with a whole medical staff and everything. So just to throw that out there, that's our main purpose. But we want to talk about tonight's episode of Life After Lockup. And what was your initial reaction after, seeing that particular episode?
Rewatching the episode sometimes is very difficult for me because I have to relive those moments, and nothing with my mother is easy. Nothing with my mother is easy at all. And, I made a decision to cut her off after she relapsed and stole from my younger sister. But then I took into account that when no one came looking for me, when I was on the streets and on drugs, I had no reason to not use drugs, and it drove me further and further down a hole. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that was my choice. However, I don't want my mom to be able to say the same thing. I don't want my mom to be able to say no one fought for me, or no one helped me, or everyone left me, and that be another reason to continue to use drugs and alcohol. And so, I decided to reach out to my mother, and you guys saw me reconnecting with her on tonight's episode, and it was very painful and very difficult. For me, finding out that she was in some crack-infested motel downtown here in Las Vegas.
Well, and actually, that wasn't the first time, by the way, I have your book right here because I was just looking through it before we got on, and I was referencing, there's a couple of times where you're in that same area where you were, using, but also when you originally broke off from your parents and you went back to that motel. So how was it going back to that area?
Being back in that area, it was so emotional for me on multiple different levels because, anyone who's from Vegas knows that, Fremont is not such a great place. And, it's full of pimps and prostitutes and drug addicts and drug dealers and police and just drama, negativity, and self-destructive people that will bring you down fast. And so going down there just to be just being in that environment was very difficult for me. My heart was breaking for the people that were on the streets and walking by, and you could clearly see that they were, high out of their minds. And I know what that feels like. And so my heart breaks whenever I see somebody that's still suffering from the same things. And, my mom ending up at the Desert Moon, that's terrible. I never want my mom in that situation, but it just brought back so many memories because that's a known porn motel. And, my first boyfriend that I talk about in my book, who sexually molested me for years, used to take me down there to that motel and, keep me drugged up. And the sexual abuse was ongoing for years. And so pulling up to that motel was very, very difficult for me. And just to know that my mom was in there in one of those rooms was just gut wrenching. I don't know how to explain it. It's like everything inside of my being just wanted to save her and pull her out of there, but I can't. I pull her out of there and take her where,
right. Well, and that's a thin line of the codependency too, right? Because you care about your mom, of course, but she also has to care enough about herself too
and at the end of the day, I love my mother, but I love my children more. And I don't want my children to be exposed to the things that I was exposed to as a child, and my mother needs a lot of help. She does. And that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with her. She just needs help and she needs a little guidance. And, to be honest, in my opinion, drugs and alcohol are not the problem. They're what she uses to cope for the problem. And so if you remove drugs and alcohol out of the picture, she still has all of these issues
to deal with.
Even when she's around like my family, when she is sober, she still has all of these issues, and my kids can sense it and they can see it on her. And so, you know, my mom needing recovery has way more to do with like mental health issues and, you know, getting a new mindset versus like, yeah, getting clean and staying clean is a big part of it. Yes. But recovery is so much more than that, you know?
Yeah, it's going in and discovering yourself even further, why you know, have the behaviors and the thought patterns that you have in the first place. You know, I think a lot of us, most people create those beliefs when at such a young age, from the time you're a baby to 5 years old, you're really shaped in the way that you see the world. And so it's like going back to those days even, and like kind of reconstructing and allowing and wanting to do that self-work is also, you know, that's a whole other thing. You know, just committing to that self-work is like, you know,
difficult.
And for someone like your mom, where she really is dependent on the substances as well, you know, because it's years and years of all of that. I love your mom, and I just want, you know, you to know that I feel for you, and I really do support her, and in whatever direction that she wants to take. You know, you can't do it for people, but I definitely foresee a good life for her if she wants it, you know?
Yeah. And that's kind of like where I have to like check myself, because I have in a lot of ways become like a saver in a sense, like, or I just like my natural instinct is to want to like just save people from the situations and predicaments that they're in. But I know and understand that I can't save everyone. And all I can do is offer my help. And if people don't want to help themselves, then unfortunately, there's nothing I can do until they're ready. And that's hard for me. Like, that's really difficult for me, because I don't, you know, I just want everybody to be happy. And I don't want to sound like so like cliche, but when I like finally found peace and contentment and happiness, like wholeheartedly, like it's just so natural for me now. I just want everyone to experience it and everyone to have it. And I just feel like I'm not exempt, like I'm no different than you or anyone else. And so like, my question always is like, if I can change, like, why can't you? And that's kind of like the attitude I have with my mother, except it's like a lot more difficult because she is my mother. And so there's a lot more like emotions involved in the situation.
Yeah. And the thought patterns that come along with it. But, you know, I think the multiverse that we live in, there's so many options as you move forward in life. So it's kind of like, you know, you have these two options today, and you take this one, and then from there you take that one. And that's why there's such an infinite amount of possibilities. So when people kind of hold themselves and say like, well, I'm either going to be this or I'm going to be that, it's like, oh no, there's an infinite amount of possibilities.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm curious what everybody else thinks out there, you know, comment, give us your opinion about that. Like, you know, is happiness a decision? Do you decide to be happy when you wake up in the morning and be thankful? And, you know, I
definitely believe that like everything in life is a choice. And I actually, you know, just posted about this because it was heavy on my heart yesterday. So it's kind of interesting that we're talking about it now. It's just, life is all about choices, and you can choose to be happy. You can choose not to be a product of your environment, you know, because your environment has no control over your mind, only you do. Happiness is a mindset, in my opinion. And I don't know, I definitely would agree with you. Like, I would love to hear what everybody else has to say about that and what they think about that.
And also, you know, I think you're still going to go through your ups and downs. It's not like, oh, just be happy all the time. You know, like you're still a person, like you still, you know, it's having the right tools to deal with being a person. But also I think in the show, you know, we see you kind of struggling with your mom stuff. And it's kind of like, well, you know, don't be codependent, just move on. But we also have to remember that it is a show, and they're just pointing, you know, they're probably showing the most heightened emotional portions for you. What is that like?
You know, it is interesting, the feedback that I get on social media, because there are, the majority of people do get it, that it's just like a portion of my life that is aired on TV. But then there's the other people that think that like that, every episode is my entire life, which is definitely like not true. And one point that I do want to make clear is that, how do I say it? Is that I want to give like a clear message that my whole intentions for everything is just to share my story, because I know that there's a lot of people out there that are suffering from the same things that I went through. I'm not in any way like, how do I say it? I'm not like in any way trying to get like a pity party happening, because like I've accepted my past. And that's why I'm capable of just talking about it without breaking down, is because I've accepted it. I don't hold any resentments. I've let go of my past, but I don't turn my back from my past, because my past has shaped me into who I am today. And I feel like that's such an important conversation and an important topic. Like,
yeah, no, I completely agree. I think it's like when you realize that you're holding on to something in life, or you're averting it, you're holding on so tight that you have an attachment, or you're pushing something away because you don't want that thing. That's when the conflict comes. So when you're able to see like, well, what am I trying to hold on to, and what am I trying to push away? And then you can kind of let all of that stuff go. I think that's really where a lot of the healing comes in. And I feel like your story does really kind of explain, your that whole thing. And I know that you're planning on writing more books than the first one.
So that the first book that I wrote and published is One Woman's Journey, Surviving the Streets, and it's the first of a trilogy. And just for those out there who think I had a ghostwriter, I did not. No, I was really, really proud of that accomplishment, being able to just write my story. And it was difficult because I had to relive those moments, but it's so worth it to just, get my story out there so other people can be like, dang, I'm not alone. Yeah. I'm not alone. There's other people that are going through this. And if she's successful today, then I can be too. That's my whole message in life. And once I wrap up my trilogy, I would really love to start writing like self-help books. That's my next goal. I'm really actually pumped up and excited about that.
Yeah. Well, also people should know too that you're actually going to school to be a counselor. Get your certification, which you plan to do at the facility that we're.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about that. So I am working on getting my peer recovery support specialist certification, and I am going to be working every day at Romans 8 Health and Wellness Center, which is why we're pushing so hard to get it open, because we do want to help you. We do want to help anyone and everyone that needs help and is willing to change. And I'm, kind of tired of talking about the problem. I just want to be a part of the solution. And I feel like that's like the mantra that I want to live by, like, let's be a part of the solution. And, I just want to give like a big, I just want to give like a really big shout out to like the whole team, Kanan, Robert, even myself, because like we've been working really hard to get Romans 8 open, and just hope that you guys will really believe in and help support our mission.
All proceeds, if you decide to donate, they're all going to this facility to get it up and running. Also, the book that you wrote is very entertaining, and it really does. It laid down things that, even though I've known you for all these years, I didn't know some of these things like that, And so it was actually, it was very insightful. I had my mother-in-law read it. She was like, "Oh my gosh, poor girl." I know, but her heart goes out to you too. But
and I really appreciate that. And when you really think about it, like that stuff is really happening to people out there, and it's happening right now, like as we speak. Like, and it's sad and it's heartbreaking, and that's why I feel like I want to do something about it. Like I want to be a part of the solution, and just, I know I can't save everyone, but I sure am going to try.
And then also we want to hear from you guys too. I know that people out there are still struggling with codependencies. They have parents and siblings that are out there on the streets that they don't have control over helping. But also, are you dealing with with actual drug addiction or alcohol addiction or anything like that, that this kind of speaks to you? Or were you formerly incarcerated and you're struggling with something of that nature? We want to hear from you as well. So a few months ago, you and I were creating some content because based on feedback that we were getting, it didn't end up being the right time for us to move forward with that. Just a lot of things were going on in the world. But we've kind of decided.
In recent days, I have received a lot of feedback from you guys, and I really do appreciate it that, our webinar or our weekly meetings is something that you guys are interested in, just having a safe spot to do one-on-one meetings or group meetings to talk about things that, Cassandra and I are talking about today. And so I think that we're going to bring that back. So I want you guys to be on the lookout for our next free webinar so you can check it out and see what it's all about.
Yeah, and you could sign up just by going to afterorange.org. So, check that out, sign up there. We'll probably—
and the link for afterorange.org is also in my bio. If you click on my link tree, you'll find it there. Yeah,
super easy to sign up. If you want to make a donation to the facility that we have going, we also, want to share some of the tools that we have been using to stay organized, to stay on track, some of the things that have helped us to even get to this point with After Orange. We want to share what we have, and we want to hear from you.
I hope that you guys enjoyed tonight's episode. I know that sometimes it is a little bit emotional and it is really raw, but it's all for a bigger purpose. Life After Lockup this season is actually 16 episodes. And so tonight was episode 3. So we still, have 13 more weeks.
Absolutely. So, all right, be on the lookout for that. Thank you so much, Brittany.
And we will see you guys so much.
Yes, we'll see you guys next week.